Well, I'd like to introduce you to two of our Eastern Black Rhinoceros here at the Great Plains Zoo. We have Amara, the mom. She's 12 years old. I'm feeding them apple biscuits, which they absolutely love. And you can see they're very used to all of us here at the zoo. They're very used to their keepers. And in fact, these animals really like a lot of contact with us. And contact with us, especially the zookeepers, just helps us manage these animals more easily. So every day they have a very standard routine. They have a lot of up-close contact with the keepers and with us. And that allows them to get used to things that are going to happen. So every day we have routines that require them to go through a scale, go over a scale and be weighed, go through what we call a squeeze or a restraint device, and that helps them stand still for a medical treatment. Maybe it's a blood draw from their ear. Hi, hello, you're hungry today. And so our zookeepers spend a lot of time doing what's called operant conditioning, doing those behaviors over and over that become very comfortable to the animals, so that when the day comes when they have to have a veterinary treatment or an exam, it's a very comfortable situation. The Eastern Black Rhino has been almost completely decimated as a species. And people like us, field biologists in Africa, the International Rhino Foundation, and a number of zoos across the country are working together to make sure that these animals don't simply leave the planet and become extinct. And early in the 1900s, there were hundreds of thousands of these animals that roamed across Africa. And as of the mid-90s, there were only about 2,000. And as I said, field biologists and the rest of us are really trying to pay attention and work hard to save this species. Now they're back up to about 3,500 or 4,000 in the wild. But that's very, very few. And when you think about losing an entire species, the world changes when that happens. And it's not just that species, but all of the other species that are interconnected in that ecosystem. So a big role of zoos now, in addition to that great day with your family, your grandkids and your kids coming out to see the animals, a huge role of zoos is to help preserve all of these species that we have on the earth. And Eastern Black Rhinos are just one of 17 endangered species that we work to breed here at the Great Plains Zoo, and we've actually had great success with these guys. Amara, the mom, has had 2 calves. Keanu came along about 17 months ago, and prior to that, Amara had another calf who now is starting her own family, and she's in the breeding program in Chicago at the Lincoln Park Zoo. So here at the Great Plains Zoo, we have 3 of only 70 Eastern Black Rhinos in zoos in North America, and so we're really a key player in breeding these animals. This exhibit really, truly has helped transform our zoo. You know, zoos used to be a place where you saw animals in cages and you saw a building behind it and you thought, oh, that's where he sleeps at night. Here we have these immersive experiences with the animals so that people not only get to see them up close, but they care about them, because the only way we're going to save this species is by caring about them. And so kids get to come out here, they get to see the animals right up close, they get to see the animals in beautiful natural yards outdoors. The animals themselves have lots of places to roam. They get daylight every day. Inside the exhibit, if it's cold in the winter, they still get great daylight. We've got lots of natural light. We've also done a lot of things for the comfort of the animals. So we've got a very spongy floor covering that's a very specialized thing because we want to make sure these animals' feet are taken care of. You know, there's a lot of pressure on 4 feet holding up 2,600 pounds of rhino. And we also have areas where kids can really learn about these animals, learn about why they're so endangered, and learn about what makes a rhino a rhino. You know, for example, this horn, you can see Keanu's just getting his. Mommy's got her full horn, and she rubs it off to keep it sharp. That's what she would do in the wild. But this is actually made of the same thing that our fingernails are made of. Unfortunately, it's also the same thing that has caused them to be so endangered. These animals are the victims of poaching, and poachers have gotten to be very strategic about how they get this horn because it's worth way more than its weight in gold. And so on the black market, a horn could bring hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so these animals are being mutilated in the wild. The horns simply cut off them, and the animal's left to die. And so we want kids to understand, parents too, why these animals are so endangered and what we can do about it. And of course, the biggest thing we can do is never, ever buy rhino horn that's been touted as a medicinal ingredient. You know, in traditional Asian medicine, the rhino horn is said to cure strokes or heart attacks or any other malady, and it's never been proven. There are medical studies upon studies that have shown there's no medicinal value to rhino horn. So we need to unplug that trade of rhino horn. But there are lots of interesting things about the rhinos. You know, their skin is just amazing. It's very soft right here, but back here it's this good protective leather. And of course, if you're in Africa, there are bugs, there are thorns and thistles, there are all sorts of things. And so this helps you get through the thistles. If you're this big, you also have to be pretty fast. And rhinos can be sprinting up to about 40 miles an hour. Now, they're not going to sustain that for a really long period of time, but they are fast, fast animals. The zoo is a spectacular place to see these animals up close. We also have animal encounters throughout the year where you can actually touch the animals and feel what they feel like. And of course, the zoo is now open 362 days a year, every day, but Christmas, New Year's, and Thanksgiving.